Everyone. I'm here today to do my Jojo Bizarre Adventure Part 5 Golden Wind anime only tier list of the characters. Now, I really enjoyed this Jojo part. I think it's my favorite part, and the cast of characters is so immense and so well done by Araki that I wanted to do a tier list of what I think are the best characters in this wonderful series. And to start things off, I put the stand Rolling Stones, the stand user of Rolling Stones, because apparently that comes, in the last five chapters. And right now, at the time of recording, we are on episode 36. Episode 37 will be released this Friday, and then episode 38 and 39 will be released July 28th, which is quite a long time from now. I'm recording this July 2nd. So therefore, I decided, I'm going to leave that guy out. I will probably update this tier list in the future, but for now, I'm going to put him in the unknown because I don't know who he is. Is he good, bad? He's so I just left it there. All right, now for D tier, I put characters who do not impact the story to such an extent that characters above do. Uh, do I enjoy those characters? These characters a bit, with the exception of one of them. Uh, Other than that, yeah, it's just characters that they don't carry on the story. So first of all, I'm gonna put Kane. Kane, he doesn't really do anything. He just walks up and dies, and Mister shoots him. However, that activates his stand, Notorious B.I.G. And then when he activates that stand gave the Bucci gang a lot of problems, and Giorno almost like lost his hand because freaking his stand broke the airplane window, and if it wasn't for Trish activating her stand, who knows what might have happened. So in terms of stand, Notorious B.I. his Kane stand is quite immense, but other than that, he doesn't really do much. So I put him on the D tier. Now, next up, I'm gonna put Jotaro. Hear me out, guys. All right, in part 3 and part 4, Jotaro is an important character. Like, he saves the world. He helps Josuke and his friends, defeat Kira. He's such a badass with his aura, and he's definitely one of those JoJo's like I'm looking forward to see, because I know every time he's on screen, stuff's gonna go down. But in part 5, he's only in part 5 for 30 seconds. Oh no, he just talks to Koichi about how Giorno is Dio's son, and that you should be wary of him. Investigate who is this man, who is this person, who is Haruno. Haruno is Giorno's alias, by the way. Okay. All right. Next up, I have Malone. Malone, I like his D-Mol, though. That's pretty funny. And he's quite humorous at times with his weird when he licks his lips. Yeah, it's quite amusing. However, his stand is remote controlled, and you don't see him react too much with the stand, as it's a code. Like, he sends messages to his stand, and the stand sends messages back. I think that's quite unique, but after Giorno deals with it pretty straightforwardly, he later then dies of a snake on the train. Yeah, that Giorno put on. And okay, he doesn't really impact the story too much. But then again, it was a one-on-one fight, and there's way more greater members of Hitman team than Malone. So yeah, I put him in the D tier. Last up in the D tier, I put Zucchero. Zucchero, though he did take 4 out of the 5 Bucci gang in hostage. Yeah, it's true. He did. He took 4 out of the 5 Gucci gang hostage. Like, it was a problem because he was disguising. He used a disguised boat, and then he lured them in when no one was looking, and it was so beast. And how Giorno had to sacrifice himself, to pull, not actually sacrifice himself, but put himself in a hostage situation for Abaccio and Bruno to realize, oh crap, we need to know how this works. So I think that's pretty good. However, as a character, he doesn't really do much. We don't really see his personality. He's like traditional gang member, or whatever. So yeah, that's up D tier. Now for C tier, are characters I somewhat enjoyed. They add to the story. They gave the protagonists, struggle. That's their obstacle. And what did they not necessarily really impacting, but they're in the story, and they have somewhat of an impact in the story. Okay, first of all, I'm going to put Koichi. Koichi in part 4, he's definitely around A S tier in terms of importance and funny quirks, like when he him and Okuyasu and Josuke, they're such a good trio, and they're such enjoyable to see on Steam. And this evolution of Echoes, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, I think that's really awesome. Uh, but however, in part 5, he's only here in the beginning. He teaches Giorno about the stands and the stand arrow, and he helps Giorno, know what it means to be a stand user, and he updates Jotaro like, oh, this guy ain't really a problem. He seems like a good guy. I don't need to pursue him any further. And yeah, he's only there for the beginning. Uh, doesn't I wouldn't yeah, I like him more than the D tier because he does participate in the Black Sabbath fight. But other than that, like he's just there and it's refreshing to see. But other than that, not really. Okay, next up I have Eluso with the stand man in the mirror. Now, one on one, Iluso could have, took out Fugo quite easily if Giorno and Abaccio didn't help. Because once you're in his stand, in his mirror world, you're done for basically. Because you can't. He basically is the boss of that world, and if he managed, to pick off Buchigang one by one, no, maybe Hitman team may have, got to the boss instead. However, at the moment, he didn't really do we didn't really get too much of his personality, and Abaccio managed to pull off some sick 200 IQ play by separating half his stand, half his body, and activating Moody Blues to go all the way back to see what mirrors that were hiding, and then to help Giorno in the other world, and just is so beast, man. And I think that trio managed to take down Eluso, and Eluso was a challenge at the end of the day. So yeah, that's why I put Eluso on the C tier. I didn't rank him B, A, or S because I think the other characters are a bit more important. Uh, also on tier C is one of the capos. I forgot his name, but he manages to escort the boss's daughter Trish to Buchigang, and after that, we know that he's a capo. He's not a stand user, but he's like an ally to Bucciarati. He's not really an enemy, and he also tells Buchigang about the CD in Venice. Talks about and the CD contains the boss's message to Buchigang. However, like he's so committed and he sacrifices himself because like Hitman team will get him, and I think he's such. If without him, like we didn't know what's gonna happen next, how much Buchigang will struggle. So I'll put him on the C tier. Now, also on the C tier, I'll put Pesci. Beach Boy managed to do some troubles to Mister Bucciarati about how if Beach Boy stays in your body too long, it'll go to your brain and rot. So that's a lot of people think Pucci is quite Beach Boy is such a good stand because of this. However, Pesci, he annoyed me in the bit because his personality is a bit annoying. However, in the fight on the train with Prosciutto versus Bruno and Mister, I think that fight was a good chance for Pesci, to showcase his fighting abilities and why he's a member of Hitman Team, this awesome group of assassins. And then you see just Pesci like just there, and then he does help out in the fight. However, Bruno, the way he like smacks him up with Ari 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 Ari, that's just yeah. But Pesci, I don't dislike him, but he's not as good as characters coming next. Also in C tier, I put Polpo. Polpo is the one that initiates Giorno into the gang by giving him the lighter test. He also, we don't know this, but he may or may not control Black Sabbath. Yeah, so he could be a stand user. So yeah, he does give Giorno his first real challenge, by holding the lighter and putting Black Sabbath to him. But other than that, he doesn't really do much, and he dies after Giorno turns his banana into a gun, and then bam, that's it for Polpo. So yeah, Polpo, he does somewhat of an impact to the story, but not as much as the other characters coming in. Okay, next in I got Saleh. Saleh is quite. He's not really too good, but like he explains his stand about with his kinetic energy to Mister, and that drags on the battle, and then Mister uses all his Sex Pistols on one bullet to finish him off. He did harm Mister, and he did, do that whole thing on the van and everything, and that's quite proved to be an obstacle in the story. So that's why I put Saleh at C. I put him over Zucro because uh, there's more of his character. He was with there in the stand, showing off to Mister A. I can stop your bullets now. You're about to die, but Mister, so damn the way Mister just pulls off in the in all these fights in part five is just mind blowing and it's so cool. All right. Next up, I've got Chocolata. Chocolata, damn, my man did not give a damn. He was about to kill every single man in Rome just to find out where Bucciarati is and to finish him off. Like, he's a psychopath. He's a crazy guy. He enjoys the, mistreatment and harm of others. He worked in an old people's home only to see their suffering. Like, he is a nasty piece of work. And, you know, like he proved that he really was, a problem. Like the Bucciarati gang struggled with Narancia, Mista, Bacchio, Giorno as well. But Giorno managed to give him the beat down of the entire series, the 7 page Muda 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 Muda. Big up Kensho Ono for doing that voice. Kensho Ono, you're amazing. I loved you in Kuroko no Basket as well as Kuroko. But he just put everything in that. Oh my days, it was so good, man. Chocolata, he got messed up. So yeah, I put Chocolata on C as he was a formidable challenge, but I didn't really like his. He's a psychopath and he's a nasty piece of work. And the other characters, I like better. Next up, I got Tiziano and Squalo. I think that's the other way around. Squalo and Tiziano. These guys are remote controlled stand users. They gave Narancia quite a hard time, and Giorno as well. Giorno and Narancia work together to defeat them. Uh, Squalo's crash is quite lethal as it can intimidate any water, and if it gets you, like, I don't know why Squalo didn't, maximize that bite force and like dig into the throat earlier. But then again, I think it's plot anyway. And Tiziano, his stand is a bit weak, but then again, it can cause confusion. And the Bucci gang, they rely on teamwork. And if confusion comes in teamwork, then yeah, that's going to mess up everything. So I agree that they were a challenge and it impacted the story. And, they were quite good. But Narancia, my boy, best boy, one of the only traps ever, just kills them both. My man, my boy, best boy. Okay, lastly, another one of the Gucci gang that joins in late, Trish. A lot of people, dislike Trish. I don't really dislike, but there's nothing really much, and she doesn't get her stand until late until the series. It is quite a burden on the Bucciarati gang to escort the boss's daughter. However, they fought to get her to keep her safe and saved her life when King Crimson came in and just boom, hand was in the elevator and Bruno was like, what the hell's going on? And she did save Mister's life. I remember when I think it was in the recent episodes when Mister was shooting at Chariot Requiem and the bullet bounced back to Mister, and then Trish had to quickly Spice Girl and put the bullet into elasticity and make sure the bullet don't go through Mister's brain. So yeah, that was quite important. Also, she defeated Notorious B.I.G., an invincible stand, which I think is quite good as well. And so yeah, she is an impact, but the rest of Bucci gang, damn, they're too damn good. Okay, now we're on the B tier. B tier is characters I enjoyed and I remember, and they played quite an impact to the story, and they were a force in the story. And every time I saw them on screen, I'm like, yeah, stuff about to go down. All right, B, I have Diavolo, the main antagonist of Part 5. Diavolo is quite mysterious as we don't see him until the very end. However, we hear of him when Doppio gets introduced, and Doppio has this split personality with Diavolo, and that causes, to Doppio to receive orders from Diavolo, and Diavolo is like he's the main master of King's Crimson. So yeah, as someone so mysterious, Diavolo has done quite well to make sure he is not seen by his organization, and I feel that as a villain, he is quite mysterious, and his motives as to be dominant and be the boss and like have his motives still remain a mystery, and that's what's so cool about Diavolo. Like, uh, he just like possesses like Doppio and uses it as an avatar to put on his deeds into, and he's so mysterious, and his stand King Crimson. Damn, whenever King Crimson is on screen, it's so terrifying, as someone is going down or someone's getting really down, really hurt. He took out many of the three of the Bucci gang. He also that one on one with Nero was also pretty damn cool. Like, I can't believe how Nero was about to take my man down, but the fight didn't play out Nero's way, and King Crimson lived to fight another day. I think that was awesome as well. But then again, Diavolo wasn't really in that fight. It was more Doppio, but Diavolo was given orders. So yeah, I put Diavolo the main antagonist and B. And you never know, it may change with the last three episodes. All right, next up I put Formaggio at B. I put Formaggio at B. As far as I think he's the first member of the Hitman team, or Eluso. Was it him or Eluso? No, it was. Yeah, he was the first person in the Hitman team. His shrinking ability proved quite a threat to Narancia, to the point where Narancia had to, put the whole street on fire to make sure, that Formaggio, can't really find where is Narancia, and you know, so I think also the fight between him and Narancho was quite, well played out. Like, it started off in the car, then it went in the store, then it went in the sewer, and then Narancho was about to be eaten by a spider, and then Narancho, had to, do some IQ plays, shoot the car first to make it go on fire, and then that created distance. And once the distance was created, Formaggio, managed to, have his power weakened. So he was quite a threat to Narancia, in my opinion, and he did impact to the story. And he was a good introduction to Hitman team, which I believe that's for another video. Yeah, so Formaggio at tier B. Next up in tier B is one of the lowest, Fugo. I put Fugo in tier B, one of the lowest ranks in the Bucciarati gang, if we're excluding Trish. So the original 5. Is it 5? Yeah, it is 5. The original 5. Fugo I put in tier B because he only has really one fight. That was against Eluso with Giorno and Abaccio. However, his relationship with Narancia as friends, stood him out as a character, and he also he's intelligent as well. His backstory, gave him a purpose. We know why he became part of the Bucciarati gang and why he wanted to, he had such promise, but he got downfall because of one incident, and that led him to, just rebel against the system. And I think that's quite developing for Fugo. However, what brings him back is, as you said, as I said, the lack of plot, lack of involvement in the plot. I mean, I think that doesn't make him stand out as much as the other Bucciarati gang. So yeah, I put him at B tier. Also, the scene where Narancia dies, the way he just looks up to the sky was quite heartwarming, as the way he, looks to his friend. So yeah, I put Fugo on B tier. He's a good character, and he has motives. However, he did not go with Bruno to Venice. Not to Venice. I mean, to Sardinia. And then after that, we don't hear of him ever again. Okay, so next up in B tier, I put Secco. Secco is a part of the duo with Chocolata. He faces against Bruno. Bruno, he manages. If Bruno is, since he was a zombie, he was immune to Secco's. What you call it? Not Secco. Chocolata's Green Day. Since he was there, that caused a one-on-one with Secco. Secco is like a crazy guy. He acts like a dog to Chocolata. He even gets fed like sugar cubes, as by Chocolata, by us saying, well done for recording the demise of one of my patients. And him and Chocolata, were quite crazy. And his stand Oasis managed to give Bruno quite a tough time. Uh, I feel that Bruno and Bruno and Seko had a good fight, and Bruno, he had to, against all odds, because he knew that Seko's, he's too fast, and he knows how to use his stand Oasis, which liquefies everything, and he knew that at the end, he's gonna Seko's gonna get Bruno, and you know that's the end. However, the way Bruno pulled out the sacrifice play by even getting that car and bursting its tire, rupturing both their eardrums and just finishing him off. That was beast. That was beast by Bruno. And damn, you know. So Seko, he did prove quite a struggle to. He gave Bruno a struggle, and that's why I put him in the B tier. And he's rememberable, even though he's a nasty weirdo. Like he proved a challenge, and he's a character I quite enjoyed. Taking into fact, how is Bruno going to beat him? Will they pass through? Will he, affect the story somehow? So that's why I put Seko in the B tier. Last in the B tier, I put Polnareff. Polnareff, we see him in the human form anyway. Talk about, he has the Requiem arrow, and he is waiting to give it to one of the Bucciarati gang, to defeat Diavolo, because Diavolo, like, his Crane Crimson is too strong. Like, it's literally almost. How could you fight someone that can erase time? Like, that's near impossible, unless you have like a sniper rifle or something. Like, it's really impossible. So Polnareff, the stand arrow, that really helps the story and introduces Requiem stands, which are like not even an upgrade. These are like on another level. It's another stand entirely, and on a worldwide scale. Because as you saw with Silver Chariot Requiem, the whole of Rome had their soul switched. Unbelievable. And the fact that Polnareff is, giving such power to Bucciarati gang, he's willing to, is like, it's a last resort because Diavolo is too strong. The boss is too strong. And though he's not important here as he was in part 5, and not part 5, part 3, I mean. So that's why I put him in the B tier, as he still, everybody loves Polnareff, man. He's a cool French guy. However, this time he can't walk. He manages to, wound Diavolo, because he found out how it worked after an encounter with Diavolo in the past that left him disabled and on a farm. And then he found out about Requiem stands and used it on a small scale. So I think that's what's good about Polnareff. Okay, on to the A tier. The A tier is full of characters that I really, really enjoy, and they were such an amusement to see in the story, and they really stuck out for me. I'm big fans of them. Some of them are even borderlining S tier, as to higher than, like, not even bigger than the series. I mean, when I mean bigger than the series, I mean characters that stick with me. Like when I say, who's your favorite characters in anime? Like, I put them on the S tier, and like characters that are an example of character development, progression, and feats, I put them on the S tier. But for A tier, these are characters that basically do that for their series. So I've controversially, I'm gonna put the turtle, Coco Jumbo, or Mr. President, on the A tier. Why would you say that? Because he gave damn shelter to the whole Bucciarati team when they were on the way to the boss. If it wasn't for them, they would all be exposed, and like they would make note of themselves and cause attention on them. And if remember on the train where almost all the Bucciarati gang, they were hidden in the turtle and no one saw them. And Bruno and Mister had to go out and take care of Prosciutto and Pesci. So that's why I like the turtle, and also the turtle gives the turtle swaps souls with Polnareff, and Polnareff still manages to stay with the Bucciarati gang after the soul switch by Silver Chariot Requiem. So yeah, That's why I put the turtle on the A tier because he is an important part of the story. Like, damn, big up turtle. Okay, I'm gonna put Doppio, the reluctant and the reluctant form, one of the personalities that of the boss. I put Doppio in A tier because first of all, he's not a bad guy. I mean, we get introduced to him saving a child. That's that's quite important, you know. I say that's why I put him on the A tier, and not until he gets a call from the boss or the fact that he switches out and like bugs out and gets mad, where what he did to the fortune teller. Uh, so overall, Doppio, he is a good guy. He managed to work together with Diavolo in the fight against Nero. Uh, he Diavolo, gets him to distract Bruno in the fight, in not in the fight, in the way to the Colosseum. So I think that's pretty damn cool as well. So that's why I put Doppio in the A tier because he is an important part of the story. He is, half the boss's personality, and the way that he gets downed by Mister after he switches souls with Bruno, that was quite damn intense. And I'm gonna just leave it there at the moment. So Doppio, yeah, I like him more than Diavolo as well because he has a personality. He's not mysterious. He's a good guy, but his split personality with Diavolo, causes him to go, insane. And he can withstand his own, and he's so interesting. And his sorry about that. My throat is a bit funny today. So yeah, Doppio A tier. Okay, now these three of the Hitman team are so damn boss. When I saw them on screen, I couldn't believe they were so powerful, man, and they really gave Bucciarati Gang such a damn struggle. Like first of all, I'm gonna start off with I think his name is Giacho. Yeah, Giacho, White, the user of White Album. Him against Mister and Giorno on the way to Venice. Oh my days. Yo, the ability to freeze even air to absolute zero. My guy was ripping off Mister's fingers when he just wanted to lie down in the window. Like, damn, and the way he gets angry over people, getting angry over people mispronouncing Venecia as Venice is like, why is Merchant of Venice called Merchant of Venice? It should be called Merchant of Venezia to be authentic. And then he gets so mad, and his outburst is really funny. And he gives Giorno and Mister a really huge problem. As his armor, White Album, is invincible. When Giorno punched it, it can only crack it. Therefore, they had to use that weak spot on the back of his head. I think that was also quite intuitive, and that gave Mister and Giorno such a hard time. And he is really one of the stars of Hitman team. Like, imagine if he faced off against, if it wasn't, if no one, they didn't find out about that. If it wasn't underwater, and then Mister had to use Sex Pistols underwater to get him to show his thing in the back. But even then, he can freeze the particles in the air to block the bullets. Like, damn. If he wasn't next to that lamppost, who knows what would have happened? So yeah, I put him in A tier because he was such a beast. Another one, I don't really see too much people talk about this guy, but I'm gonna put Prosciutto in A tier. When I was watching the Grateful Death arc, I think that's his stand. I think it's the Grateful Dead or Grateful Death. When I saw his stand about how he ages everyone, he is also a psychopath. He is willing to kill everyone on the train just to make sure he needs to get Bucciarati and the boss's daughter. I think that's also so crazy. He also manipulates his age. Also, he shot Mister 3 times. Mister 3 times. Absolutely insane. Therefore, I put him in A tier because he doesn't give a damn. His fight with Bruno as well was pretty damn cool. If Bruno didn't take advantage of the fact that he can take off his body parts with using sticky fingers for that, that's pretty damn beast. So I put Prosciutto in A tier. I like his stand most than more people. I feel like he's a bit underappreciated in terms of Hitman team. So therefore, I'm gonna put him in A tier along with Ghiaccio. Okay, now last I think you all know it was coming. The leader of the Hitman team, Risotto Nero. Now, Risotto Nero, the leader of Hitman team, he already looks beast. He looks like a Tokyo Ghoul character with the black and red eyes, looking like a ghoul. He looks really beast, and presumably so because he is the leader. He has to look unique and have a presence when he comes in, and that's how he is when he comes in, covering himself in iron because that's his stand, Metallica. He can use iron manipulation to do many sorts of things, and he manages to corner Doppio. Still to this day, I don't know how he manages to track him down. I know that the boss is from Sardinia, but still, it's mystery still how Risotto Nero managed to get in. Oh yeah, he followed Bucciarati gang. Sorry. Anyway, so after he finds Doppio, he starts to get suspicious of Doppio because he doesn't really act normal, and stopping near a beach, and then he uses iron manipulation, and then he turns, gets he makes Doppio's blood turn into razor blades because of the iron in them, and it's so awesome. And he really is such a leader. He manages to 1v1 the boss. Like, come on, not even Bucciarati gang can 1v1 the boss. Probably no one from Bucciarati gang can 1v1 the boss because they'll just get donutted from the freaking King Crimson time erase. And the way he's smart enough to evade that because he's invisible and get that presence and get that distance, and just he almost kills the boss. Like, the boss was dying after it. If it was for Narancia coming and shooting him down, yeah, you never know what might have happened, man. Still crazy, man. That's why Risotto Nero he's in the A tier. He's one of my favorite characters. He looks so boss as well. Probably the best designed character in the series. Okay, now just the Bucciarati gang left, and I have some decisions to make. First of all, I'm going to put Mister in A tier. There we go. Mister in A tier. I put Mister in A tier because one, he's so resilient. I find he's the most resilient out of the bunch. First of all, his backstory is luck. He luckily managed to dodge all the bullets and save that girl from being assaulted. And then that made him go to prison, even though he killed the people doing the crime. He was just trying to help. I don't know, silly law. Yeah. But that led him to join the gang and, join Bucciarati gang and, fight off these criminals. And that's his motive, to stop injustice. So I think Mister's intentions are clear. His stand Sex Pistols is quite funny with the 6 bullets, number 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7, because he has tetraphobia. He's scared of the number 4. Also, yeah, that's really it. The reason why I'm not putting him in the S tier because I feel like he hasn't really had such a big impact in terms of outside the story. Sure, his design is super duper cool, and he has an awesome stand, and he is quite confident. I remember I was thinking about him versus Whole Horse, and I just put him over Whole Horse, even though Whole Horse has infinite bullets and Mister only has 6. Then he has to reload. Like, Mister, he's smart and he's confident. He took on freaking Prosciutto head on, got shot in the head 3 times by Prosciutto, confident enough for his Sex Pistols to stop the bullets, and even the fight against Ghiaccio in the White Album, he got shot 6 times and he was about to die if Giorno didn't stop the bullet to his head. Insane, man. That's why Mister belongs in A tier. His confidence is just too awesome. Now, for this next character, I was debating whether to put him in S tier or an A tier. And this may change depending on how the series is going to end. Because I got a bit spoiled about how, Giorno gets a Requiem stand. But at the moment, I'm going to put Giorno, the main protagonist of Part 5, in the A tier. I put him in the A tier because he has a dream. He has a motive. He believes that all life deserves a chance to live. From the confrontation we know this from the confrontation with Leaky-Eyed Luca, when Luca wants to, tell him, "Oh, get that frog off you," and then Giorno's like, "That frog is not harming anyone. It has its own life. It has its own conscience." And this really reflects to his stand about giving life to things. He wants to stop, the evils of the gang, selling narcotics to children and, making their lives misery. But then again, it's kind of ironic because his family, like, his family didn't care about him. Dio left him. His mom didn't give a damn. His dad, I don't know what, like, did he even have a dad? Like, I swear the stepfather, he ran away or something. Uh, so yeah, and he joins the gang, as a way of saying what I'm doing is bad, but not as bad as the law or the higher powers do. They are the real bad guys. We're not even we're bad, but not that kind of bad. Like, they still have a heart, and they still help, as you saw when he helps. What does he help? He helps that kid get that pistachio ice cream. He helps all. He heals. He literally saves Mister from life and death situations as well. I find that pretty awesome as well. When that fight against Giacho, he tries saves Narancha, but it's too late. He also helps Narancha in the fight between Tiziano and Squalo by cutting off Narancha's tongue, because Tiziano sticks to the tongue. So I think Giorno is pretty boss for that. But the reason why he's not S tier yet is, like, he didn't really have that oomph moment. Sure, the 7-page Muda 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 was really, really awesome and cool. So is the speech. The when he killed Polo. That's good. Polpo, yeah, when he killed Polpo. That was quite interesting because that was like a self monologue. So yeah, he has his moments, but not that oomph moment that the S tier characters now have. Now, as you can see here already, we have Bruno, Abaccio, and Narancia in the S tier. Now, I put these characters in the S tier because they go beyond what the series is. They will remain for me for the rest of my anime watching, manga reading days. These characters really, really stood up to me. Bruno, first of all, his motive when he was a young kid and he found out his father got stabbed by drug dealers, that already set the tone of what this character is going to be about. He wants to fight injustice by taking out these baddies. And even when he became the gang member, he didn't allow narcotics to be sold to children because that's going to ruin the kid's life, like how his childhood was ruined. And he's such an awesome leader. The Bucciarati gang, they stick together, and he makes it sure he puts himself before others. Like, you see that fight on the train with Progetto. He literally jumped out the train to get Progetto out the train because Progetto didn't give a damn. He was about to kill everyone on the train. Like, and he also got Secco away from Giorno and Mister. And Secco, we don't know like what he could do against Giorno and Mister, but he made sure that did not happen. Bruno, he was the last one standing in the first fight against Zucchero. So yeah, Bruno was awesome, man. And he was the one who went with Trish to give to the boss and then had to face Diavolo one-on-one with Diavolo. That is terrifying. And he turns into a zombie. I don't like he dies for that. He turns into a zombie, as he tells us after. And that's why I like Bruno. He puts himself before others. He personifies what a leader is. And that's why I put him in S tier. Now for the other two. Abacchio, I put him in the S tier because his story as well. He had a dream to become a police officer. However, the criminals he arrested, they managed to get out on bail and roam the streets again. And that made him receive criticism as a police officer, where he feels like his job means nothing because these criminals, they keep getting away. They keep coming back anyway. So even though he's doing what he's supposed to do and what he wanted to do, still, he's not getting anything. And also the story about when he tried to be corrupt because he know that the criminal is going to get released anyway because that criminal owns a business, and he can like get a lawyer to help him. He's about to, the criminal's about to kill him, and then that his friend, his policeman friend, like jumps in front of him, and from there on, like he can't take it anymore because it's such a heavy burden to carry, and he's like his stand personifies what a detective is, going back, fixing everything, like but his real dream is to go back and fix the fact that his friend, he wishes his friend was still alive, and at the end when they're in Sardinia, they that's when Abaccio dies. He gets one shot by King Crimson, and that's seen in heaven. Uh, there's a scene in heaven in where okay, free recording limit. Sorry about that, guys. Your boy is poor, so he has a Chromebook, so downloading stuff from the internet is quite difficult, and everything's in the App Store. But anyway, no one wants to hear about that. There's a scene in heaven after Abaccio dies with him, and the police officer. They talk about, did you fulfill your purpose? And the police officer says to Abaccio, he gives him a test about these things underneath the table, and then Abaccio says, "Hey, are you a policeman? Are you trying to find, or you need help with anything? Like, I can help find you." And he tells him clues, and then Abaccio and his friend, we don't know if it's his friend straight away because he's underneath the table. And then when Abaccio realizes, his friend says, "Oh, don't worry, you haven't been a waste. You fulfilled your purpose. Don't feel like my death didn't mean anything to you. You became a better person for those people down." And it was quite emotional as well. That's why Abaccio is in S tier, because he, really, he's a changed man. Like that event back where, you know, his friend died is quite impactful because that changed him. Like now he has to think things twice. He can't just go in, and he has to put himself before others before, putting his friends. It's all about the thing with Part 5 Golden Wind is it's all about teamwork and friendship. That's what makes it's right now it's my favorite part so far because the team, the Bucciarati gang, they all look out for each other. They're like a family, and they all have a sense of they want to fix this problem, that they don't want to corrupt the Italian youth. They want to do this by taking over the whole organization, and that's what I really like about Part 5. All the characters, they have their own motive, and in the other parts we are unclear of their motives, the Jojo characters' motives, most of them anyway. But here, like, we almost see almost all of them. Yeah, so that's why. Last but not least, the best boy himself, Narancia Girga, Orange. Yo, I love Narancia, man. First of all, he wasn't really my favorite because he is quite high pitched and noisy, irritating. But then he became like a bit like no homo, but he's a bit of a cutie, and his dance scene was very funny. And he's such a he brings the comic relief, and he really wants to take everything together. He wants to make sure no one gets abandoned and betrayed, because in his childhood he was betrayed. He got sent to prison for no reason because his friend wanted, he didn't want to go to prison, so he said, "Oh, paint your hair blonde." And then some old woman says, "Ah, this man robbed me." And then, oh my days, Narancia's been through a tough time, man. And his dad was abusive to him. This is what I like about the Bucciarati gang. They all have their own motives and personalities. That's what I really like about them. And Narancia, his stand is unique about using carbon dioxide to find the opponents. I feel like that's quite cool as well. His fights with Formaggio, Tiziano, and Squalo, they are also quite amazing. And the fact that he's so loyal to Bruno as well. He says, when Bruno asks, "Oh, do you guys want to leave?" Then Narancia says, "I'll only do it if you order me." And then Bruno says, "No, this is for your own choice." And that's what Narancia, he wants to do something more. He wants to mean something. He wants to be meaningful. And that's why I put Narancia in the S tier, because he was meaningful and he really was that, fun part of the Bucciarati gang. He was always trying to be smiling and happy. And that's why I like, he is basically the heart. And that's my tier list of JoJo Bizarre Adventure Part 5. Sorry about this video recording software. It's a bit trash, but your boy is broke and can't really get a proper iMac for recording. But it is what it is. Thank you so much. Take care. Let's hope. I can't wait for the last 3 episodes of JoJo Part 5. See ya.